Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Got a special interview today with Ritesh Kakkad. I want to get into that just a bit. We had a few technical difficulties, but I think we sorted it out and we worked through it. So if you're a new investor, you may or may not be aware of XinFin. XDC is the asset, hybrid green, very fast, efficient asset focused on global trade and finance, a different lane than what we discuss. You know, obviously, if you follow this channel closely, in our top four, XRP, XLM, XDC, VET, and we focus on the design that they share. For example, XRP being wholesale, XLM being retail, XDC being trade, and VET being the supply chain. But having said that, we love the fact that they're each focused on a different lane and a different design on what they're going to be bringing to the industry, or I should say to the world, actually, on the disruptive capabilities that they have, and it's going to be life-changing. You know, if you've used assets like BTC or Ethereum, and you've tried to send those to friends and family, especially some kind of a micro process or micro amount, like, a few dollars here and there, or even a couple $100. Sometimes the fees are as much as the actual amount that you're sending. So it's a little bit challenging and a little bit difficult to do that with those assets. But these assets, for example, like XDC, which we're going to discuss, are very fast, very efficient, and very minimal fees. They're not even noticeable in your traditional transactions. So getting into XDC, just a brief update and introduction just for you who may be new or maybe unaware of what XDC or XinFin really is. It's enterprise-ready hybrid blockchain for global trade and finance, combining the power of public and private blockchains with interoperable smart contracts. So it's decentralized, hybrid, interoperable, and liquid network exchange infinite. XinFin is a delegated proof of stake consensus network, the XDPOS, enabling hybrid relay bridges, instant block finality, and interoperability with ISO 20022 messaging standards, and making XinFin's hybrid architecture developer friendly. So it's already ready to go live on ISO 20022. And just a quick flash here, Ritesh Kakkad, the early investor, co-founder at TradeFinex Tech Ltd and XinFin organization. So with no further delay, let's dive right in to this interview. So how was your day? How's your evening?
Day very busy, very interesting, like so many calls, and we are getting a tremendous response from the market people. They are calling for integration. People wanted to deploy dApps on the networks. So things are very exciting, and community is also very exciting, and it's a wonderful time for us.
Well, that's very exciting. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfectly fine.
Okay, perfect. And I can hear you perfectly clear. So let me get open these questions really quick, and then we can get into that. I got a question before we get in too much. I don't know if we added it to the questions or to the list. Did you have any kind of an update that you wanted to mention with Andre Casterman?
Basically, Andre Casterman is a well-experienced person from the Swift, and Andre is generally very active advisors to the XinFin networks. Because of Andre, we can approach to larger institutions, and since he already had lots of banking relationship with many customers, most of them, they are like, either it can be financial institution or it can be non-financial institutions. So he's a very active, and we see his interest is too much into this technology, and he's helping a lot for blockchain adoption, especially for XinFin networks with the various institutions and a non-banking financial institution as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Because he seems like he's really interested in and excited about XinFin and XDC,
Yeah. He's very, very exciting and very helpful for us Infin Networks, and we really appreciate his support.
I think some of the going into some of the community questions, some of the questions were, do you see like Ledger Nano being able to support XDC the way it was holding the XDCE?
Yeah. So, how Ledger Nano works. They have a companion apps. So we already design applications and we submitted for our adding XinFin network. But the issue is it's still under the security check. It's been almost 9 months, and I think it's better if XinFin community will approach them and ask for status, because the tech part integration part has been already executed from the tech team. We are just awaiting them to just audit and make it live. So once they make it live, support will be there. So on a technical front, we don't have anything pending from a tech site or for a Zinfin sites. It's now role of a community and ledger that approve this blockchain network, so we can start storing our XDC into the Ledger Nano. But meanwhile, I think many hardware wallets like BitFi and Decent, they already started giving support for a Zinfin network. So meanwhile, they can use it's a very nice wallet. I have very good experience. I'm using both of them. If you look at my decks, I'm using both of them. So I will advise them to use BitFi or Decent wallet until
Yes.
they are adding support for Zinfin networks.
Yeah, the decent wallet is very nice. It's pretty much just like the Ledger, the Nano SX. And the other thing too that I like, even personally, I use the Garda wallet for the XDC. So that's another nice wallet for Z
Yeah,
XDC.
it's a software
Um,
wallet. Free wallets, Garda wallets, it's all a software wallets.
yes, I do admit though I do like the cold storage better of like decent.
Yeah, it's a better option. Even we advise community to keep your assets on a hardware wallet and give more, or as far as possible try to protect their assets.
Yeah, I agree. Into another question, the community was concerned about like, how about the tier one banks, and when do you project that they will start using openly the XDC network?
Right now, look at what is our experience like since almost a year, 1.5 years. Once we went live, almost 2 years now. So we are talking to not only one top tier bank, but multiple top tiers bank. Now they have certain limitation when it comes to compliance and legal approvals. Right now, if you look at the scope is blockchain adoption will go to like 7 billion human beings. So they have to use the systems one or the another. And right now we placed on a very sweet place, because we already given all kind of demos, how it works, use case, and how they can utilize the technology. So I feel it's matter of time. It can be couple of weeks, or it might take couple of months, but definitely today or tomorrow they are going to use the Zinfin network for sure. And all the, if you look at top tier banks, they do discuss, they are discussing internally about smart contract of Zinfin, and it's the most favorable smart contract right now for them to use as Zinfin network. So looking at the current status, definitely not only one but multiple top tier bank going to use the technology for sure. And many non-banking financial firms, they already started a prototype for a TradeFinex network where they are generating yield out of a various instrument using XDC network. So just keep your finger crossed. Anytime we'll heard some news from here top tier bank as well.
Excellent, excellent. And I think too, uh, kind of on a side note, coming back to you, what do you think is one of the like most exciting parts of the whole, like the team and the network? What do you feel is the most exciting part for your perspective?
Yeah. So, I am from a tech background, and I'm an entrepreneur from few generations. But here in when it comes to a blockchain or Zinfin network, I observe there is some new momentum has been started, which is called decentralized autonomous organization, like a DAO, and where people, they comes, community members say we need checking support, we need this ledger hardware support, They support them. They approach to the bankers. They approach to non-banking financial firm. They go to developers and they help them to grow the network. So it's a kind of ownership for the larger community members when it comes to XDC. It's like not owned by one or two people, but there are like thousands of people right now owning XDC, and they feel a real ownership that we are owning a company. It is not just owning a token, but they are owning a company. So the way it works right now, if you look at like many decisions, we are not even aware. It's taken care by the community, group of community. They approach to certain like projects, and they approach them for integrations, and we get live. So suddenly it's like surprise for us as well many times. So this new momentum, which we call a DAO, which is possible through the blockchain network. And since it's like decentralized network run by the people, so truly it's run by the people. It's not run by the co-founders, to be very frank. And like you mentioned, you gave me feedback about decent wallets. Similarly, we get opinion about various wallets, various exchanges, and many people they knows some listing people into exchange. They go and approach to the exchange, then exchange comes to the us, and the guy, community members like take care of end-to-end follow-ups. So very interesting part is we are very excited to be part of this new momentum, which is totally new. Like if you go 20 years before, it was like a corporate. It's owned by few individual. It's run by the CEO. They have CFO. Here it's a totally new structures, and I'm personally very excited about running this kind of organization and to be part of this kind of organization. And I see that the scale is so fast. It's unimaginable. 2 years before, like we had a hardly few community members. Now it's like if you look at wallet numbers, like it's already like a few thousands, and very soon it will be million for sure. So this is a very exciting part, and I really appreciate all the members, all the associates, all the community members for supporting us.
Yeah, and the community is very excited. And just to be clear, too, for the community listening in, he's saying that everything is set up for the wallets, too. So if you're wanting to push this on the ledger, you need to start pushing that on Twitter, start getting the community together, start pushing, saying, when are you going to list it? Because what he's saying is XinFin is already set up. They've already had everything together for about 9 months, and they've been on their side ready to rock and roll. So if the community wants this on the ledger, we need to start pushing it every day, like on Twitter, until we get their attention so that they respond to that and they have the information they need from XinFin so that they can already add it. So remember that too, and spread that word. If you want it on ledger, you got to start spreading it within the community and tagging ledger for that too, just to be clear for those guys.
I think I really thankful for like influencer like Digital Asset Delhi. You are also playing a role, not only helping XinFin, but you are helping to get blockchain adoption globally. So every time like if there is a small part, I know that a community approach you and you told me like let's have like some conversations. So in a way it's a community helping, but at the same time you are also aligned with this kind of a mentality where you are also supporting networks there. You are also like helping the words from the community members. So I really appreciate digital assets really as well, and I really follow you people since a long time.
Excellent. It's an honor. It's an honor. It really is. Also, too, going back into some more of the questions from the community. Let's see. Another question too was, what are your thoughts on the, I guess we could call it the mix-up that R3 had, having listed 2 XDCs, one being from XinFin, and I forget off the top of my head, the other was another company. I know it's corrected, I believe now, but what were your thoughts on that, or what are your current thoughts on that?
Are you talking about which wallet?
On when R3, the Corda Settler had like the mix up with the 2 different XDCs, the listing of a different company. I think it's fixed now as far as that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So basically, like they came out with a token name XDC, and of course, again, the entire community, reached to them and they say, we are going to sue you. You cannot use XDC. It's a separate organization. It's open source. So the founders from the Codite, they contacted us, and we tried to work together. And surprisingly, we came out with a wonderful output where they created a bridge between Coda and XinFin network. So the use case, came out of, like they design a bridge which allows like all the Coda based institution to have a public network. So there is a CBDC, it's used by 5 banks. Okay. And there is a bridge. After 5 banks, they want to send like, some currency outside the private network. They can use like XinFin network. So entire bridge has been, designed by Codite teams. And this is how we started. It started with some kind of controversy, and now it became a so productive output out of that. And they are also very excited, like people, they appreciated this bridge, and it gives a real utility to the institutions as well as to, retail user. Yeah.
I think well, on this side, I think it's exciting because recently we just shared some news too with um, XinFin's XDC with I think it was the default for Corda now, as far as I'm aware of. It was their
Yeah.
first choice. Is that what I read correctly?
Yeah, so right now, if you look at, Codite has been used by only the private organization and institutions. They have larger financial institutions as well, but they don't have any public state as such. So using this bridge, we provided access to a public bridge. As I mentioned, whether they are using CBDC within their Coda networks and they want to like, send certain portion of like currency outside the Coda network, they can use bridge of XinFin. So right now, if you look at the public blockchain, XinFin is the only integrated with the Codite network.
That's exciting. You
Yeah.
can see the growing, like, I've been an investor in XDC for, I
Okay.
think we're going on 2 years now. So I haven't been around from the very beginning, but once I was shown, I saw it really quickly, like the potential of where you guys were headed. Obviously, it was still early enough to be a solid investor, but I think the other good thing too, which obviously we discuss a few different assets on the channel. We have our favorites, and obviously XDC is one of the top 4 favorites that we discuss, and we share everything that we can. So I like the TradeFinex. It's just a different lane than the other assets that we, the focus. It doesn't mean that you're limited to, you understand as well that you can expand beyond what your focus is, but having that focus, it puts it in a different lane than the other assets that we discuss. For example, XRPs, like in wholesale, we have XLM and like retail, the V chain and supply chain, and then XDC, we focus on the trade finance. So we think it's really good because you kind of complete our little package that we deliver as far as the content we discuss. And I think it's unique that the focus that you guys have. And I think it's an open lane without limits. And I think where XTC, on my perspective, from research, where you're headed is just unbelievable. And where the success that I think that you're going to lead into, I believe that the doors are wide open. And I think it's very exciting as an investor to be in so early with an asset like this,
I call it, you are not an investor, you are the owner of a XinFin networks, and people, they are owning the network. So this is how it's growing, and definitely we are very ahead when it comes to a trade finance digitization. And if you talk to any people, those who are into trade finance digitization, they knows about XinFin. So today or tomorrow, they are going to use our network. They are going to use our smart contracts. Many pilots is going on right now within the accredited investors base, and we are just planning to scale. Like it can give access to the bigger highway. We created a highway already, so now we are waiting to just open a floodgate. Like waiting for some approval from some regulators. They can allow us, to do like transaction with the retail public. Then there is like no limit for us.
Yeah, that's how it seems on this perspective too. I think it's very exciting. I think the community is a very solid community. And again, we're going to share as much as we can because it's in its own lane. And I don't think that at this point, anything that I'm aware of is any competition for you guys because everyone has a different focus. And we think it's just an open lane for XDC. And I think another two, the last and final question I think that I have from the community was they were curious as far as with the staking, are you going to have something that has less than the 10 million XDC, for example, 100,000 or less, for a community member to be able to do their staking as well.
Yeah, it's a very, recently in last one quarter, we are getting many requests about community staking. So I tell like how they create yield out of that. Stating generally it's around some kind of derivative products, or it can be like liquidity for creating arbitrage opportunity within the ecosystem of assets. And our main focus, what is our plan for a longer run? Of course, we started talking to few exchanges to create some kind of derivative products and give certain returns to the XDC holder. But if you look at a long-term plan, like why we are talking to so many institutions, why we are talking to larger numbers of banks, because we try to connect all the traditional instrument that if there is a receivable or it's an invoice, they are getting payment after 30 days or 60 days. We want to make sure that we convert them into NFT and the mortgage with the particular platform, and they can put into XDC, and XDC holder will get certain details, they will get certain liquidity out of that, they can able to do business. So this kind of structure, there is a large, it's 15 to 16 trillion dollar of untapped market. So we want to make sure all the communities, all the people like into like crypto world, they should do this kind of activity which is real. It's not about derivatives or speculation, but we are helping a business, we are helping a trade, we are helping trade finance. So this is the total USP when it comes to any other like tokens. So we focused more toward getting this kind of yields. And about normal stakings, we are talking to like some exchanges and some wallet service providers. They already like came out with certain derivatives products which can give certain yields to XDC holders. So that you may see very soon, they announce openly to the public.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, I think I got all of the questions, at least the major ones that they were interested in. Is there anything else you want to throw in before we go?
First of all, I like to give us some brief, like to the community members, whether it's a digital asset daily or a XinFin, like community member, that next 6 months is very exciting for us. Like many dApps, it can be for a decentralized storage, or it can be decentralized email. Like scaling a TradeFinex with larger number of transactions and creating yield out of traditional instruments, connecting various NFT platforms and marketplace to the network. So next 6 months is very exciting, and I think it's as per the roadmap. This first and second quarter was very exciting because like we already done lots of integration, of course, with the help of community members, and I want to make sure community with us, and whenever they feel certain things about like this is good for a XinFin, or this particular aspect will help a lot to scale the network, of suggestion we always welcome from the users. And as I told, we created a highway. Now we need the larger traffic on this highway because we already facilitate things for the people, and now we want like people to just drive the car. That's all. We are looking for more kind of scaling the networks, transactions, everything.
Yeah, let's get the cars driving on there. Let's get some traffic moving.
Yeah. With no toll, or almost near zero gas fees.
No, and that's another thing too, that that's a good example right there. For example, assets like Ethereum and Bitcoin are just so slow and so exhausting. The fees are enormous. Sometimes if you want to move just a little bit of, say you want to move a little Ethereum over to a friend or to a family or something, sometimes the fee costs as much as what you're sending them, or sometimes even more. And that's another great thing personally as a user. Like when I'm sending XDC, it's like nearly instant. It's very fast, and the fees are like not even noticeable. So that's another thing too. I think it's a great point, whether if someone's wanting to use XinFin network or XDC as a corporate and enterprise on the wholesale level, that's something they're going to enjoy as well, because the fees of the other options are extremely high and it's very slow, where XDC is a very fast and a low fee asset. And as a user, especially on the retail level, that's significant, because if you want to send a small amount, if I want to send it here to Dubai or Singapore or Bangkok or something, I can send it quickly, and it's not even noticeable in the amount that I'm sending. The
Yeah,
fees are so minimal to none. So I think that's
correct.
another great a point in perspective right there.
Yeah, so near to zero gas fee was the only concept when we showed the all the networks they have high transaction fee. And other part, it was like any network you take all the proof of bakes network, they consume like huge energy. Okay, and that point was very clear when we started writing a white paper that we need to solve these three main problem, whether it can be high gas fees or it should be a developer friendly. Developer should feel that I can develop an app and my app will have feasibility for long run, so they can able to, like, whether it's like you mentioned about a micropayments, or it can be a DApp. For every record they have to pay some kind of gas fee. Like, very interesting use case about Chainlink, like for every record I heard, like once upon a time they were paying like $300 plus as a gas fee. This kind of concept is not feasible for longer run for any developer. So there is one more company, like they are also deploying a DApp like Chainlink, and they came with very exciting model and incentive for the feed providers. They can also make money out of that ecosystems. So that is also there in the roadmap. Maybe within like 1 quarter, you will see all these apps getting live on a XinFin network.
No, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So do we have anything you can't discuss today? Any big partnerships coming up that you're going to let us know in the future?
See, partnership, we are talking to like there are not larger numbers of partnership we are talking, but what we feel, like we like to announce when, we don't want to create any kind of speculation within the community. And if you look at XinFin community, they always want, that thing has been done. We can able to share some kind of transaction has, this is the how we done this part. This is the transaction has, this is how the system works. This is how the DApp works. So many like larger numbers of people they are talking to XinFin for a various kind of partnership, including a few banks and including some originators, like many developers. They are moving their dApps from the other ecosystem to our ecosystems. But we like to we don't want to create any kind of speculation before we are getting live. So our entire community advise, whenever there is something live, we have to announce. Otherwise, we don't have to announce. Like Tatum, like it's a great partnership where any developer they can do programming without knowing much coding expertise. And same with the myways, we try to make it sure when we are live we should go and tell to the community, and community becomes very happy. Now they can see something live rather than just speculations or try to convince the community. It's not the way we work.
And I think the community like responds very well to that. For example, even this morning, I saw a community member post something about XDC's XinFin community, a grassroots community with not a lot of hype. It's just literal physical action being taken place. So I think they agree with you 100% on that. They like that it's just a solid company without a lot of hype in it. It's just, here's what we do, here's what we are, here's where we're going. And then you're showing it every day. And I think, you're probably equally as excited on this end, but the aspect of a lot of the market had been red for the past few days, and XinFin's XDC has been like fully green like the past like 3 or 4 days. So everyone's really excited with that as well. So when even on my perspective, when I'm looking at my portfolio with everything red, it's like you see the little green where XinFin is at, or XDC is actually climbing. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, so we believe in law of karma, in not only like founders, co-founders, but entire like core community, master holders. Like we have to keep doing work, and definitely we are going to get result out of that. So this is not like today, but since last 3 years, like people, community members, team members, they are working day night, for all kind of. Today I have last call at 11:30 p.m. and early morning I have call at 6 o'clock. So like all the people, like they are doing so much of investing their time and energy. And once energy, it's all about working with the energy gives result. If you put certain energy to somewhere, it gives results for sure.
No, that's amazing. And I know you're busy, so I thank you for your time. I don't want to keep you too busy. I know you're ready to go home and relax after a very busy day. So I want to say thank you. I appreciate your time. I'm very grateful.
I like to thank you for Digital Asset Daily and like look for the growth for Digital Asset Daily as user base as well. I will request XinFin user to follow Digital Asset Daily on a regular basis, and we will help each other to grow the blockchain adoption.
No, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye bye.
So it was an honor doing the interview with Ritesh Kakkad from XinFin. And we had a few challenges, as I've said at the beginning of the video, some connections with Zoom, but I think we overcame that. And I felt, as always, before we go, I wanted to leave you with a final thought. And this one just seemed fitting. Your best bet to survive and excel is on yourself and your ability to adapt to change. And I want to say thanks to our VIP on Patreon, Surfmeister, and to each and every one of you. Much love, and we will catch you in the next one.